Hi yoga friends, I'm Sarah Mapes. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today's flow integrates poses that are commonly done in a beginner yoga class. This is a great flow to do as a review, to think about our alignment and what all these poses are supposed to be like and to really feel into them in our bodies. Or if you're just starting out and want to know what you'll be seeing in a yoga class. Let's get started. Come onto all fours. Your knees are about hip width apart and they are stacked underneath your hips. Maybe we start by rocking back and forth, going from side to side, just feeling into our bodies. How do we feel today? Where does it ache? What's sore? What feels good? And then from here, this position is called tabletop. As you inhale, drop your belly and lift your chest, coming into cow pose. And then exhale, round your back, coming into cat pose. Inhale, drop your belly, lift your chest for cow. Moo. Exhale, curve your back. Meow. Inhale, drop your belly, lift your chest. Exhale, curve your back. Shift your weight forward onto your hands, coming into a knee plank. And then come back into a child's pose. Stretching your arms out long in front of you. Coming back into tabletop. Tuck your toes under. Lift your hips towards the sky, coming into downward facing dog. In our downward facing dog, our heels can be off the mat or they might come down. Our palms are pressed firmly down into the mat with our index fingers out in front of us and our fingers spread wide. Your spine is long and straight and push back in towards your hips. You'll feel this stretch all the way through your body. The more you push, the more you'll feel it. You could even have someone gently push back on your hips in this position. Walk your feet to the front of your mat. Bend your knees a little bit and roll up to standing. We're going to do a classic sun salutation. And so you can leave your feet hip width apart. This might feel more stable, which is what we want. We want to feel, some people feel really comfortable with their feet together, but hip width apart could leave you feeling steady, stable, comfortable. That's what we want in all yoga postures. This pose, by the way, is Tadasana or mountain pose. We're standing with a neutral pelvis, not sticking out, not tucking under, just neutral. Our shoulders are down, our shoulder blades are coming back together, our arms are at our side. We're not thrusting our chest out. We're rounding, we're up nice and tall, shoulders down, blades together, neutral pelvis, head coming up. You're getting taller. Okay, from here, inhale your arms up to the sky. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come into a half lift. So in a half lift, we might bring our hands to our legs and our spine is straight. We're creating space here. And then as we forward fold,
We're rounding our backs and coming down as far as we can, and it's okay to bend your knees a little bit here. Placing your hands down on your mat, bring your right leg back, placing your right knee down on the ground, coming into a low lunge.
Then lift your arms up towards the sky. Bringing your hands back down to your mat. Bring your left leg back. So from here, we come into plank pose. To hold plank, we would tuck our toes under and lift up. So we're strong in this pose. You can always leave your knees down here. That's totally okay. If you're in plank, then everybody's going to lower their knees down, and you can come all the way down onto your belly from here, or you can come to what's called knees, chest, chin. So we bring our knees, our chest, and our chin to the mat. Or if you prefer, or it's more comfortable, just come straight down onto your belly, leaving your elbows in tight by your torso. As you inhale, come up into a baby cobra. If this is comfortable, you might continue lifting yourself up off the mat, coming into a high cobra, pushing back onto your knees, tucking your toes under, lifting up to a downward facing dog. Taking a few breaths here, feeling grounded. And then look forward towards your hands and take your right foot and place it between your two hands and drop your left knee down to the mat, coming into a low lunge. Lift your arms up towards the sky. Bringing your hands back down to your mat, framing your front foot, tuck your back toes under, step your feet together, keeping them hip width apart at the front of your mat, coming into a half lift where our backs are straight. Then forward fold. Inhale your arms up to the sky. Exhale, hands to heart center. Very nice. Very, very nice. Okay. Step your feet out wide on your mat. Take your arms up to the sides. This is star pose. Turn your right toes out to the side, bringing your arms down. The further apart your legs are, the harder you'll be working. Bend your right knee, taking it only as far as your ankle. We want our knee to be stacked right on top of our ankle. Don't let it turn in. Keep it straight so that your knee is going out over your second toe. That's important to protect your knee, and you want your heel to line up with the middle of your left foot. Take your arms up, look out over your right fingertips. Our hips are open to the side. If you take your feet out longer, you'll be working harder. You can sink further down into this pose. Take a few breaths here. This is Warrior 2 or Virabhadrasana 2. Straighten your right leg out, and then take your arms out. Reach as far as you can out to the right, and then bring your arm down to your leg. It might be on your thigh, it might be your shin, it might be your foot. Wherever you're at is the right place to be. We're opening our bodies out to the side, inside triangle, or Trikonasana. Take your left hand up towards the sky, turn your head, and take your gaze up towards your left fingers. Take a few breaths here. Lift your arms, bend your right knee, making sure again that our knee is stacked over our ankle, and bring your right elbow to your right knee. We're still opening out to the side. Take your left arm up, and if you can, if it feels good, take it straight over your head. Take your gaze up towards your left fingertips. We're in Parsvakonasana, or extended side angle. Take your arms out to the sides, straighten your right knee, turn your right foot in, and your left foot out. So now you can see that I've got a line in the middle of my mat, so it's easy to see the alignment here, but take your front foot so that your heel is lined up with the middle of your right foot. Bend your left knee so that your knee is stacked over your ankle and your knee is going out towards your second toe. That will protect your knee. Our hips are open to the sides. Lift your arms. Look out over your left fingertips. We're in Warrior 2 or Virabhadrasana 2. Take a few breaths here. Straighten your left leg, keeping your left toes turned out. Reach as far as you can out towards the left with your hand, bringing your hand to your thigh or maybe down to your shin, maybe your foot. Take your right arm up towards the sky for Trikonasana, side triangle pose. We're opening out through the side. Take a few breaths here. As you come up, bend your left knee so that your knee is stacked over your ankle. Knee is going out over your second toe. Bring your left elbow down to your left knee. Take your right arm out overhead, coming straight over your head, making sure that we're opening out to the side. In Parsvakonasana, extended side angle. Coming all the way up, straightening your foot, taking your left toes and turning them back towards the front. We're still in this wide leg stance. We're going to do Prasarita Padottanasana, or a wide leg forward fold. So with our hands at our hips, fold forward. This halfway point, think about lengthening your spine. Coming out as far as you can this way. Think about taffy being pulled and extended. We're the taffy. We're stretching long. You can take your hands to your thighs here. or you can bring them all the way down to the floor or to a mat, to your mat or to a block. Block is the word I'm searching for. So you can walk your hands back so that they're in line with your feet. You could place them on a block. You could leave them on your thighs. Reach them out. If you're really flexible, you might be able to reach your toes. Wherever you're at is a good place to be. You could also have a chair in front of you and be resting on the chair at this halfway point. That would also be good. Walk your hands out, bringing yourself back up to standing. Step your feet together. Going to do a little bit of balancing work. We'll do tree pose next. So to do tree pose, we're going to ground down firmly with our left foot, spreading our toes wide, feeling strong, and then lift your right foot up. You might leave it down here by your ankle. This is tree. Totally valid, wonderful tree. You might lift it up a little bit further, or you might place it on your thigh. The only thing we really don't want to do is we don't want to push on our knee. We don't want to put any pressure on our knee so that we prevent injury. The other thing that is important to be aware of, keep your hips strong and firm. Don't sink down in like this. Keep yourself strong and tall, square hips. Find where your tree is today. Then you can find your drishti, your spot to gaze at. That will help you to balance by looking at one spot that's out in front of you. You can take your hands to heart center. You might lift them up towards the sky. Totally up to you. Whatever feels good to your body today. Take a couple more breaths here. You've got this. Take your right foot back down to the mat. Shake your left foot out a little bit. Ground down firmly with your right foot, placing your foot firmly down on your mat, spreading your toes out wide. Lift your left leg coming into tree. Again, I could be down here by your ankle. Might be up a little bit further. Not pushing into our knee, or it could be up here on our thigh. Keeping our hips square. Strong, firm. Find your drishti, your spot to gaze at, something that's in front of you. Might be a picture, might be the light switch. Make sure it's something that's not moving. Take a few breaths here. Releasing your foot, giving yourself a bit of a wiggle. Come back towards the front of your mat. Take your right leg back behind you. Keep your toes, lift, you're on your toes, your heel stays lifted. We're in a high lunge. So when we did our sun salutation, we were in a low lunge, and now we're in a high lunge. If this is uncomfortable, you can drop your knee down to the mat and come into a low lunge. And if this is hard on your knee, you could place a blanket down on your mat so that you have some extra padding for your knee. And lift your arms up towards the sky. Take a few breaths here. Something that you'll often see done in yoga classes is a twist in a lunge. So you might, if you're in a low lunge, you might bring your hand down to the mat and then lift your opposite arm up towards the sky, feeling a twist. Or if you're in a high lunge, you'll see people bring their hands to heart center and then they twist towards the leg that's in front in a twist. Twists are really good for digestion and for our lower backs. Bringing a hand down to the mat, if that's helpful, step your feet together and come back up to standing. Ground down firmly with your feet, and then take your left leg back for a high lunge. So our heel stays lifted, our hips are facing towards the front, our knee stays stacked over our ankle. We're not going out or in. We're not bending further. We're staying with our knees stacked over our ankle, going out over our second toe. Hips are facing forward. Take your arms up towards the sky, or you can drop your knee down to the mat for a low lunge, using a blanket under your knee if that feels good. Then coming into a twist, if we're in a low lunge, we'll place our hand down on the mat and lift our other arm up towards the sky. And if we're in the high lunge, then we would take our hands to heart center and twist around towards our front leg. Bringing a hand down to the mat, drop your back knee, bring your right foot back to meet it. Coming back into either a puppy pose where our bottoms stay lifted, or coming back into a child's pose if that feels good. Child's pose feels wonderful to some people and not to others. Child's pose can also have your knees together or your knees wide apart. Coming up to sitting, take your bottom down to the mat and take your legs out long in front of you. So this is Dandasana. This is our staff pose for sitting. So it's like our mountain pose or our Tadasana, where our shoulders are down, our shoulder blades are coming together. Our hands can come down to the mat. Sitting up tall. Inhale your arms up towards the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Reach towards your toes. This forward fold is called Paschimottanasana. So if you can't reach your toes, you can just stop anywhere on your legs, or you could use a strap or an old necktie and wrap it around your feet, reaching towards them. As we forward fold, you want to look forward towards your toes, thinking about lengthening your spine. Not just how close can I get and let me round over. Think, I'm reaching for my feet. I'm gonna get them. And look forward towards them, thinking about moving closer towards your toes. Coming back up to sitting, not standing. Bend your left leg, bringing your left foot into your right thigh. Flexing your right foot. Inhale your arms up. Exhale, reaching forward towards your right foot. This is Janu Shirshasana. Coming back up to sitting, taking your left leg out long in front of you, bending your right knee, placing your right foot on your left thigh. Inhale your arms up. Exhale, forward fold, coming forward towards your left foot, looking forward towards your toes. Coming back up to a sitting position, straightening your right leg out in front of you. Bend your left knee, placing your foot flat on the mat. Place your left hand behind you and take hold of your left knee and twist around towards the left. Every time you inhale, think about growing taller and creating space. And every time you exhale, see if you can twist a little bit further and move into the space that you just created. Taking your left leg out long in front of you, bending your right leg, putting your foot flat on the mat. Place your right hand behind you, take hold of your right knee, and twist around towards the right. Let your torso move first, and then your head. Every time you inhale, think about growing taller and creating space. Every time you exhale, twist just a little bit further and move into the space you just created. Releasing your foot, taking both feet, bending both knees, bring your feet together. Your feet can come out, they can open up. I'm going to turn towards the camera. We're in Baddha Konasana, or bound angle, or butterfly pose. So our feet are open up, our knees are open out to the side, sit up tall, and then fold forward. Again, thinking about lengthening your spine. Sit up tall, and this time round your spine. So this time, let your spine curve and round and come down as far as it's comfortable for you. Coming back up to sitting, we're going to come down onto our backs. We'll keep our knees bent and our feet flat on the mat in front of us. Bring your feet in close to your bottom, keeping our knees a little bit apart. We're going to lift up for bridge pose. If you have a block, this is a great pose to do with a block, to place the block right underneath at your lower back and where your bottom meets. There's like this perfect place, and you'll know when you find it. But if you don't have a block, you can do this and get a good workout. So lift your hips up, keep lifting, keep lifting. You can take your hands underneath your back and keep lifting up higher and higher. Maybe you grab the outsides of your mat. I like my hands under my back myself. Take your hands out from under your back and slowly, with control, lower your back down to the mat, one vertebrae at a time. Slowly, slowly, slowly. Hug your knees into your chest. Maybe rock back and forth from side to side. And then if it's comfortable, take hold of the outsides of your feet and lift your feet, coming into happy baby. If this isn't comfortable, maybe you just take the backs of your thighs and rock back and forth from side to side. From here, straighten your legs out on your mat, taking your arms out to the sides with your palms open. This is Shavasana, or final relaxation. Close your eyes. Let everything in your body relax. Let your eyes drop down towards the back of your head. Soften your jaw. Take your tongue off the roof of your mouth. Let your shoulders and your arms relax. Let your tummy sink down towards the mat. Let the floor come up to support your body. Let your legs and your feet and everything just relax. When you're ready to, gradually bring feeling back into your hands and your feet. Give them a little wiggle. Maybe move your wrists and your ankles in circles. Then take your arms out long overhead. Slowly roll onto your side, resting your head on your arm. Bending your knees, coming into a fetal position. Slowly make your way up to a seated position. Sit up tall. Resting your hands on your knees with your eyes closed. You took the time to come to your mat, to learn something new or to review something. taking better care of yourself will help you to lift everyone around you. Bring your palms to heart center. Namaste. Thank you for practicing with me. If you like this practice, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you on the mat again soon. Thanks. Bye.